Okay, I think we are officially live. Cool. Um, let's see. Of course, now I'm stuck, right? Ooh. The glitch isn't here. The glitch is me. So here we hi. Hey
Hi.
everyone. I've got Bob with me, and he's here with me today, and we're keeping this super real. Just walking through what shifted for him, and what he's building, and what he's seeing from the inside. So hi Bob,
Hi,
welcome.
Claudette.
Welcome. And so we're just kind of dive right in, and let's start off with what made you start paying attention.
Well, first of all, let me maybe back up a little bit and just kind of get into some of the reasons why I was paying attention or looking. Maybe 8 years ago, I had a stroke, and it was a fluke thing. I was 60 years old. I was on my birthday when I had the stroke. It was on my 60th birthday, and I thought I was doing all the right things. I was exercising, I think eating fairly healthy, but life caught up with me, is what bottom line was. And some things that I wasn't paying attention to. Fast forward about 4 years afterwards, I started really digging into natural, holistic, alternative types of ways to help heal my body. I wanted to live longer. I wasn't ready to go. But I went through a lot of shifts during that time, mentally, physically, emotionally, all the above. And that kind of falls into the category of mental wellness. Um, and I was in something else that I thought was going to make a difference for me, and it did to a certain point. But it wasn't quite exactly what I needed. When you're dealing with brain fog and forgetfulness, and you start questioning, is this because of my age? Is it because of the stroke? Is it, what is it? And so, just to be honest, Claudette, I met you online, just seeing some of your posts, some of the people that you're associated with, and I became intrigued because of the things that you were saying, the conversations, the topics. And it was all zoned in and around mental awareness and how the brain gut axis has so much to do with the way we feel day to day. And I was quiet. I didn't say much. I didn't talk to anybody. I just kind of was a stealth bomber, so to speak, and just watched. And I kept hearing things that I liked hearing. Um, Example, I was hearing a lot about the brain and the gut axis and what really was going on. And it made sense. It kind of tied some things together. And then I started watching and listening to the types of products that you were discussing and what they actually would do for you, and the fact that they were natural, that they had been researched, they had been highly vetted. Um, and that was important to me because there's a lot of stuff out there. But is it the right stuff? Is it good? And that was all fine and dandy. But I like to be an entrepreneur. I had to retire early from my career as a high school and middle school band director because of the stroke. Pretty demanding kind of job. Plus, it really required a lot of multitasking, and some of that I lost when I had my stroke. So I had to step away. And so now it's like, what do I do? And I'd always been somewhat of an entrepreneur. I always dabbled. I always had some kind of side hustle or something going. Owned a music store at one time. So
Well,
um, I was really kind of open to the fact that I could maybe make a business, to build a business from this type of product and this type of company. But what was important to me was, what was their system? What did they do in their team of people that was different than all the others? And that's what really caught my attention.
and that means a lot. That really, I appreciate you bringing that all together, and it just helps people understand that no matter where we are in life, we have opportunities, and sitting on it, you're missing out, right?
Yeah.
So you've pretty much answered already with like one of the other questions we had here was, what stood out most when you saw it? Well, actually, what stood out most when you saw our systems? You got a chance to see behind the scenes.
I tell you, that was pretty big. I've been involved in network marketing, multi-level marketing for over 30 plus years. And, 30 years ago, the way you approach network marketing was hard.
Yeah.
It took a lot of guts and grit and determination and stick-to-itiveness that goes beyond almost human logic. Uh, and I didn't want to do that again. We live in a different world. We have social media. We're doing this right now. You couldn't do this 30 years ago.
Right.
And so I was bound and determined that if I was going to get back in this field, which first of all, let me say, I think network marketing is the best kept secret in the world. And if people would really open their eyes and look at what it really does and quit using these stupid comments like it's a pyramid scheme or whatever. True pyramid scheme is the government. True pyramid schemes are corporate America, where if you're the top CEO, you're going to make all the bucks. But in network marketing, that's not the way it works. And people just need to get over that comment. But I digress.
Yeah, let's not do it that way.
It's really a super solid business model. However, if you don't have the right systems, and in the world we live in today, with, like I said, social media and the ability to Zoom or do online communications, meet people from all over the country in a matter of minutes and have meaningful conversations, that was important. But even more so than that was, I didn't want to be like you had to do it in the past, where you kind of had to trick people into wanting to listen to you or share with them. Here's my philosophy nowadays is I'm going to share who I am, what it does for me, what I'm doing. And if you're the person looking for that, then I'm the person you need to talk to. So it's called attraction marketing. Yeah. And so if I attract you by my conversations and the things that I talk about that have made a difference in my own personal life, and that's what you're looking for, then maybe we could have a conversation. And the conversation would basically go back and forth between what you're looking for and what I have to offer. I'm not going to spend time with icky conversations and trying to trick you into anything. We're just going to have a conversation. And if it's not for you, it's not for you. And we move on, and we're still acquaintances as we meet. The system that's in this particular business and in the lineage that I got involved in with you, Claudette, is by far the best I've ever seen. Our upline, and upline means somebody that's got in before we did, but we have some leadership that is just absolutely phenomenal. I'll mention first names, but that won't go any further. We have Beck, we have Helen, we have Megan, and these ladies have put together a strong system of training, everything from video training to coaching training to product learning. I mean, and it's on an ongoing basis, and you can get as much or as little as you want. And when I started watching, and this is where you mentioned earlier, I was kind of in the background watching. Because you allowed me to, I was allowed to get in some of the backside of it and just watch quietly. And all of a sudden, I'm like, I can learn from these people. I can actually put together what they've done. And by the way, these people they're rock stars. I mean, Beck has put together such a huge organization of people in such a short period of time, and showing people how to make money within the first 7 days. Yep. I've been in just really 7 days, just a little over 7 days, and I've already put money in my pocket just by following the system and following it, not dabbling on my way too. It's just staying true to the system. And anybody can do that.
following that path is really important, to follow that plan, because that launch plan really sets you up for success. Put you in that right place, and makes all the difference. And it's really awesome to be able to to hear from you, and not just from me, because that makes a difference. It's someone who just got started, and success is possible. You just have to be willing to put in the work. I mean, it's work. No matter what you think, it's not going to just happen.
Absolutely.
You
Yeah.
have to be involved. It's your business, but it's possible. And with what we have here, it's just been incredible. So when you mean officially, you had joined 2 weeks ago after you got to go see one of our calls behind the scenes, and you had already been watching and prior to that. So, and we had conversations, and just kind of giving you a chance to see what's there, and know it. So after that Zoom with my mentor, because then we had that after that system call that you were on, and then we got on a Zoom with my upline mentor. Where were those? Well, actually, that system anyway. So that's get confused here. So that call we had with Helen and stuff. How did you feel after that call?
Well, first of all, Helen is really a neat person. Helen's Australian, so just listening to her talk is a real hoot. I enjoyed it, especially being an old Southern boy. But this lady is smart. She's from corporate. She's been in the higher levels of corporate, and she walked away from that. And she does this, and she is a coach, multifaceted a lady. But her ability to train and teach and keep it light and enjoyable, but also bring home what you need to hear, was refreshing for me. And I really enjoyed our conversation that you were, thank you so much for getting me in touch with her. I needed that. I mean, being somebody that's been around this kind of business for a long time, I do understand the importance of the correct leadership and what they're bringing to the table. And what I think is really important for your listeners to understand is not all networking companies are the same. And a lot of great companies, I'm never going to diss any of them, but a lot of great companies, a lot of great products. But more importantly is the leadership and the system that they've put in place. And I have not seen in any other type of networking business the type of system that we have in place. You mentioned the launch plan. Right when I got started, after I made the decision, pulled the trigger, and got signed up as a brand partner, the next day in my inbox was a day one launch plan. And it basically, step by step by step, said, do this, do this, do this, do this. Here's why you're doing this. And then it gave examples. And that's all about social media, stuff like that. And so since that day, I've been following that plan day by day by day. Every day I got a new inbox with a new set of circumstances to navigate and learn and do. And, when you're my age, I didn't grow up in the computer world, didn't grow up with social media. These are all learned skills that you and I have had to start from scratch.
Yep.
Back in the day, we barely learned how to turn on a computer, much less all the softwares and things that are available. So the learning curve initially was really big, and I wasn't having success learning that on my own. But then hopping on with a group of people that a little bit younger than me, and you got to be humble and willing to learn from others that maybe are 20, 30 years younger than you,
Yep.
but they grew up in a world that was different than me. So it's refreshing. I step back and I go, I can learn from these folks. And it's made learning much more enjoyable for me. I've learned the skills faster because I'm a very visual person. So I visually could see what to do. I could read what they were saying to do, and I could put those together and get it done rather quickly. And that became the important part. And that's just the simple part of the system. There's all this background stuff that we don't see that our upline has really honed.
Right.
And they're really bringing that to fruition for us that get started. And that's why so many thousands of people are coming aboard with us, because they can have success virtually overnight.
It's so true. And when we talk systems and people are like, what does that mean? It just means that, like what Bob's talking about is there's a plan. So that is a system. So it gives you something what to do, and by following that system, it gives you that leverage to grow and to build your community of people who are looking for what you have to offer. And that's what systems mean. I mean, we have many other things, and so we don't want to get confused or complicated, but it is not complicated, because the way it's aligned and how we plug you into the systems, it gives you a place to go, and you know what to do. It gives you a blueprint of,
Right.
that's what it is. So, I dropped in the comments our 4-figure blueprint, and whether you're here for me or if you're here from Bob, make sure that in reference to the 4-figure blueprint, we can connect you with Bob, and it'll be in his feed as well, so you can connect with Bob. Because again, it's really important to be aligned with the person who fits who you are and what you're looking for. We both are in the same system, but I have a brand and Bob has a brand. And what that means is, who we are and what we present in our story. So without going too deep and getting too complicated, and what I didn't mention is, you can drop in the comments. It's not too late, and we'll be keeping an eye on that. So we make sure we're here to answer your questions. If you're watching the replay, please hashtag replay. And again, we're here for you. And if you want to just be quiet, you can just DM either of us. We're here for you, and we're here to help you out. And we want you to find that success, and not always, don't stay quiet. Come join us. We're having a lot of fun.
When I
the
said
community is really warm and welcoming, and everybody wants you to succeed.
that was important, Claudette. When you and I met, it was through another. We're both in a training course, and we were learning. And the one thing that caught my attention about you was you were positive, you were uplifting, you were quiet a lot of times, but you never forced yourself. And when I was the one that approached you. Okay, let's have a conversation. I want to just hear some things. But even in that conversation, you always allowed me to be where I was at the moment, and you never pushed me to make a quick decision or whatever. You nurtured me.
Right.
And I think in this world that we live in today, we don't get much of that. And in the old models of network marketing, let's get them in before they get out. And that's not our game plan. Our game plan is, number one, we care about people, and we care about what it is that these people are going through. And since we're focused as the only mental wellness company that is trademarked, and our whole focus is about mental wellness, and really where some of this mental wellness comes, it's not just right here, it's down here too, and trying to get people to connect that these go together. And I was one of those people learning that. But you've been seeing me sip on something the past few times. Just over the 2 weeks that I've been drinking my happy juice, things have changed. I couldn't do what I'm doing right now without stuttering all over myself, forgetting the next comment that I wanted to make or the word that I was looking for. And those things have already changed in me, and I'm noticing them. I'm more animated in these scenarios than I used to be. Probably when you met me, I wasn't like I am right now.
You're flowing really well.
And my multitasking skills, not that they're not back to where they used to be, but at least I can do more than one thing and not forget how to do the thing I was working on prior to that. But
it's fantastic.
My whole point in this is that what we bring as a company to the table for multitudes of people is hope. And that hope is that all these things that are going on with my body, and I can't quite figure it out. I need something. I'm looking for something. I try this pill. I try this exercise. I go to this program, and maybe they work for a minute or two, but here's what I've learned just in my short period of time is there's things that have to come together. You can't just shotgun all these different approaches. You have to find things that synergistically fit together. And when I got my order, and you helped me with this, it was all based on a little bit of a quiz I took. And that quiz honed in on specific areas of what I was feeling, thinking, experiencing right now in my life. And you were able to take that information and plug it in to our system. And it came back and said, well, these are the products or the things in our program that are going to best align with the problem Bob was having. And your suggestion to me, was, this is what I recommend. Now we can massage this. If the cost is too high, we can look at some other opportunities, but this is what I suggest. Now, my decision at that point is, do I trust Claudette and what the system said, or do I interject me in there? And I made the decision to trust you and the system, because if I don't learn to trust you and the system, then I'm probably not going to be very successful.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's what I did. And so that was the important aspect for me. That was what I really needed to find out. And you brought that to the table, Claudette, and I commend you for that, because I'm an old salty guy. And, when you're 68 and you've done it your way for a long time, you don't tend to want to change. But I decided it wasn't working the way I was doing it, so I'm going to start listening. And again, that we keep talking about this system. Listen, I can't talk enough about it. The products work, but this system that we have in place is so phenomenal.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. And I don't know, do we talk about swagger, or do we leave that as a little bit of a...
Well, we just, we have opportunities that even expand beyond. They've added on more systems, more things. And it's not that it's complicated. It actually has simplified our systems even more. So even though the systems were working perfectly fine, when they added in swagger, AI, so don't get scared, because there's a lot about it that it carries, what Bob has for his tool is Bob's voice, his brand about him. And the same for me, mine has been, and I continue to be working on it, nurturing it so that it becomes more about me. And it's not scary, because the whole point of it is that it's speaking our voice, and it's helping us complete and reach our people smoothly, nurturing. Because I was using this tool when I was working with Bob and his questions and answering it. I just did it slowly, and I used my tool to help me be patient and give him the opportunity, let him run the course that was best for him. So this tool has opened up so much for all of us, and we've only had it a month. It was actually dropped to us on Mother's Day. So we just been a month, and it's just been phenomenal for all of us. And I know it's been very helpful for Bob as well. And it's exciting to listen to, because it's simplified, and it's less time of being, whether it's on your PC or if it's on your phone. And you can accomplish these things. And what's great about this is I use my PC mostly when I'm at home. I just find it more comfortable when I'm working. But I've been going camping every couple of weeks, and I still nurture the process with my cell phone while I'm away, as long as I have connection, which so far I've been fine. I'm not stuck on it, so you don't have to be. You work your business to your time, and because we have this extra tool that has just multiplied what we have, it's just been, I don't even know what to say, Bob. It's just...
Well, I think for a younger generation, this is all they want to use.
Yes.
For you and me, because our eyes are different, we need bigger screens and all that. But I find myself going here more than I do even to the screen, just because of the convenience and the ability. And again, with all the different tools we have, they're right here in front of me in my hand,
Yep.
no matter where I am. And so I'm able to answer questions rather quickly.
Yep.
I'm able to be on social media and do whatever I need to do on there. And here's the other thing, Claudia, I think so important, because social media has been so abused over the years. And, there's a lot of ads and a lot of people throwing stuff up there like mud on the wall to see what sticks. And we don't work that way.
No.
We are open, we're honest, we're going to be true to who we are. And if you are interested in hearing more about what we're talking about, or if you have issues that you're dealing with in your own personal life, we're just going to have conversations back and forth. And if it's somewhere along the way that conversation leads into a more in-depth direction, then we'll go there, and we'll do that offline. We don't do any of this online, but it's such a simple process. And if you're looking for something to help you personally, physically in your body, we've got that opportunity. If you're looking for a way to make extra money, I mean, would it be nice just in a month's time to be able to put another $500 in your pocket? And it not be very difficult to do that. All you do is follow what we've been talking about, the system, and that can be rather a quick turnaround. And if you want more than that, then we train on how to do better than that. But $500 extra in most people's pockets is the difference between having enough food on the table at the end of the month or not.
Right. So, and it's exciting to watch those who, when they've achieved that, and then to hear their testimonial to what it did for them and what they were able to do because of it. So it is very exciting. So I mean, if you're just the minimalist and just a little bit extra is enough, then that's what you do.
Let me ask you a
For
question.
more, you do more.
When I first got into this, when I was looking at it, there was a lot of women, which there's not a problem with that, but there was a lot of women. Why would this be, in your opinion, from your viewpoint, why would this be something men should be seriously looking at?
Because your health is just as important as my health. So I mean, when you're talking about the health and wellness side, I mean, for me personally, as a widow, this is something I wish I would have known at 16 years ago, or before that, prior to that, and to be more knowledgeable about my health and wellness, so that we would have been, would it have changed anything? I don't know. But I do know that it was something we would have tried if we would have been more knowledgeable. And because we've learned more and more is available to us, that I feel that it's kind of crazy to not even to dabble in investing in yourself. Your self-care is, if you aren't well, you can't be here for anybody else. And that's
but it's so expensive.
It that depends on how you look. So I mean, do you want to be stuck to drug prescriptions and that kind of stuff, or do you want to look on the health and wellness side so you can have longevity? Just knowing that you can feel well day to day, that value right there is more than 100%, to just be able to care for yourself and not have to have someone else caring for you and not knowing what the outcome. I mean, I don't have the full answer how long I'll be here, but I do know that feeling well makes a difference.
And you do know here's the thing I think most people kind of don't realize. I don't really know how bad I really feel, because we haven't tried to find things to make us feel better other than medications and prescriptions, which really, quite honestly, have the reverse effect a lot of times because of the side effects. But when I started feeling that brain fog lift, when that started coming up, all of a sudden I realized I wasn't feeling good before. Thought I was, but I'm feeling better.
For those who aren't feeling well or don't realize they're not well, that's for them is normal. So until they actually take a moment and invest in themselves and try something natural and do what we're doing, then they're going to find out, wait a minute, that normal wasn't normal, just like you just said.
Yeah.
So, invest in yourself, because that's where the value is. Because if you are well, and the better you feel, then you have that longevity opportunity and just feeling well, just to light your world and to have a skip in your step. you
Well,
know,
exactly. And, you can't put a price tag on that.
no, exactly.
When I finally got it through my thick skull that it was worth my life, it was worth my life for me to sacrifice. And let's say I needed an extra $100 to be able to take on the natural healing possibilities. What can I eliminate that I don't need to go to Starbucks 5 times a week. Right there, that's a pretty chunk of change.
It is.
Or I don't need to do this. I can take this off of this part of my budget and put it over here to help me. And that's when I started looking at things through a different pair of lenses and go, hey, if I don't take care of Bob, how do I take care of my children? If I don't take care of Bob, how do I continue working? How do if I don't take care of Bob mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, what good am I to anybody else?
So I'd like to leave it on this note here is one of the things that I use a lot is if you just invest one positive step in your life of adding something, just choose one item to start with. Um, if you implement that one piece of health and wellness, you will see that the other things that don't carry value are going to push away. So then it's going to get easier and easier to invest in your health and wellness. If you start with one, it's the power of one. It truly is the power of one.
Mhm.
People say, well, they'll talk all the negative. Don't even think about it. Invest in that power of one. And as you do that and you start going through the phases that changes of feeling well, you're going to find out that those negative things that you were counting on all the time without realizing it are not going to be important. They're going to push away on their own. And then you're going to you're going to say, oh, wait a minute. Now I should work on this. And you take the next step. Don't worry about all the things. Just take that first one. And by taking our quiz that we have, we can help you open up that path. So work on the power of one.
That's some
Right.
sage advice, Claudette.
That's you can't do it all at once. So
No,
power of one. So thank you, Bob, for being here, and I really appreciate you sharing everything that you've been through and your advice. I appreciate that very much, and thank you to the listeners. And again, if you're watching the replay, please drop replay, and if you prefer it private, just go ahead and DM either of us, and we're here for you, and we look forward to sharing what we have with you and welcoming you to the team. So thank you.
bye-bye.